passion, but I want you to begin to pursue those things that are important to you. This is what I want all of us to get. Where there is no vision, where there is no prophetic utterance, the people cast off restraints and run wild. The problem with the world is not that you are a product of your environment. You are not a prisoner of your circumstances. You are not even being controlled by conditions. The problem with the world is that we have a generation of people with no vision. And so we get up every day, we mindlessly scroll social media, we binge watch shows, we barely do our jobs. We are distracted and disconnected, but yet we want to do great things and live this life of our dreams. It doesn't work that way. You have got to become a person of vision. One of the things that I know about vision is that vision sets the boundaries of your life. It defines your priorities. It shapes your relationships. It organizes your activities. I mean, vision sets the precedent for your life. And when you don't have a vision, you're always going to live at the mercy of other people's vision. You're always going to live at the intersection of other people's expectations for your life and what you should be and what you should be doing. And so what I want you to do, I want you to get a vision for your life. I want you to get a vision for your career, a vision for your spiritual life, a vision for your personal care, a vision for your personal development. I want you to live your life with a sense of vision. Don't just talk about it, but be about it. And so I want you to move from interest to investment. How do you know that a person has moved over from simply talking about something to taking action and doing it? It's when you move from interest to investment. I tell people are like, how are you able to do all of this? Your podcast has been going for over a decade. Your business has been going for way over a decade now. How are you doing this? How are you able to have the impact and the reach and the influence that you have on so many people's lives around the world? And I say it's very simple for me. It is more than me being interested in some things. I have invested my life in it. I've invested, first of all, in growing and developing as a person, because I cannot serve the world to the best of my ability or potential if I'm not growing and developing on a constant basis. And so my commitment to growth and development, my constant expansion of my mind, the conscious expansion of my capacity and unlocking of my potential, all of those things serve me and help me to better serve the world around me. And so I want you to get invested in your future, get invested in your dream. I mean, I want you to get consumed with your calling, that it's not just something that you talk about at the spur of the moment or every now and then, but I want this to be something that resonates and permeates every fiber of your being. And so we talked about a lot of times we're not always willing to grow to get to a better life. A lot of people want a greater life. A lot of people want to do a lot of great things, but you have got to keep growing and developing. And one thing I always tell people is that nobody is responsible for your growth but you. To the end of your life and you don't have anything accomplished, no dreams reached, no potential unlocked, no destiny fulfilled, it won't be anybody's fault but yours. What we don't understand is that we can't always control where we start in life at conception, but we do have the ability to determine where we end at expiration. Did you get that? There's this gap between conception and expiration, and that gap is called discovery and exploration. And what you do in the gap between conception and exploration is going to determine what you did with the seed of your potential. What did you do with your life? Did you just go through the motions? Did you blame other people for why you're not further and why you're not doing this or that? What are you doing with your life? What are you doing with the gift of time, with the gift of 24 hours? So many times people want to look into the next 5 and 10 years, and they're failing in the 24 hours. What are you doing with the span of 24 hours with your life? Because what we don't realize is that it is small wins, small changes made incrementally that adds up to time. We're looking for this big thing to happen, this big bang, this big result to happen. And we don't realize that change is intentional and incremental. It's the things that you're doing with the 24-hour span of your life that is determining your future and your destiny. And so you've got to make a very conscious decision that you're going to do whatever it takes to get you from where you are to where it is that you want to be. And you see I'm getting excited, so let me calm down. And we also talked about how action is so important. We talked about how when we take actions that are incongruent with what we say we want, that ultimately we are sending our lives into these vicious cycles, and we're putting ourselves into these patterns that need to be interrupted so that we can get to the next level. We talked about how more does not come into your life because you have a desire for something or a strong affinity. We said that more comes into your life because you begin to develop the focus, the stamina, the tenacity to get things to happen and move in your life. And so we've been talking about this last pillar, which is called strategy. We define strategy as your approach to the game of life. We talked about it being the ability to perceive unforeseen forces and anticipate change. It is the ability to reinvent and not retreat. And so one of the things that has made all the difference in my life is being a person of strategy. You need strategy. It's good to have a good intention. It's good to have good ambition and good passion, but you need to be a person of strategy. The difference in seasons in your life is the strategies that you have. The gap between success and failure can only be closed through strategy. It's not that you don't have the potential. It's not that you're not gifted or smart enough. It's not that you don't have the necessary wiring to do it. The thing that stands in the way of most people is that they do not have strategy. Strategy shifts your life from a maze to a prophetic map and GPS system in navigating you to the direction of your prophetic destiny. Strategy makes what we see through the mind's eye manageable. So it breaks down this massive vision, massive plan, massive undertaking, and it begins to break it into digestible chunks and pieces where it's manageable and more easy for you to accomplish. What most people are frustrated and failing miserably in life is because they lack strategy. They see life as a game of chance, and I see life as a game of strategy. And so a lot of people are hoping and wishing and praying for these breakthroughs to happen in their lives. And I tell people I'm not hoping, wishing, or simply praying for a breakthrough in my life. I am creating the breakthroughs in my life. And so while they are living on a wing and a prayer and a chance and a probability, I'm living very intentionally and creating what it is that I want to see, because I realize greater my strategy, the greater my odds of success become. Write that down. The greater my strategy, the greater my odds of success become. The weaker my strategy, the weaker my odds of success become, and the more inevitable failure becomes in my life when I don't have a strategy. And so when you lack clear plan and vision for your life, you are living on hope. And hope is not a life strategy. I want you to get that. Hope is not a life strategy. I know too many people that are living their lives on hope and a wing and a prayer. And every year is a repeat of the year before, and they're not making progress. They're not getting the results. They're not seeing the breakthroughs that they want to see in their lives because hope is not a life strategy. Hope deferred produces a sick heart, and hope deferred produces disappointment, discouragement, and disillusionment. I want you to write that down. Hope deferred produces disappointment, discouragement, and disillusionment. And when I look at the lives of so many people today, you know what I see? Disappointment, discouragement, and disillusionment. It's not that life doesn't work. It's that their lives are not working because they don't have a strategy. And so if you want your life to work, you have got to become a person of strategy. Why do people seek me out? Why do you listen to this podcast? Why do people read my